Andrew.
Hey.
How are you?
Fancy seeing you here.
Would you? This is new puppy. Would you mind saying hi to her for me? This is Mookie.
How are you?
That's what we don't want. So we're gonna practice that until we get that one right.
All right.
Come on, walk right over here again. Sit. Sit.
Not liking Mookie.
Sit. Good girl. Now reach out, pet her, walk up to her.
No.
Almost.
Almost.
Back away. Getting closer.
No. Probably biting me isn't the right answer.
No,
though.
that's not the right answer either. She's figuring it out. She's going, what is the right answer here?
So how old is she now?
4 months, just past 4 months.
Yeah. How has training gone?
How's it going, dear?
It's been interesting. It's been challenging. It's been fun. We're really grateful to have Steve to help us because if we didn't, I think we'd be a little bit lost.
I think it's the thing that the big takeaway I've had is that the dog is the byproduct of Steve training us. We're being trained to figure out what to do with her and to get her to respond correctly, and Steve has been able to inform us about how her brain works, and which is not like ours. So we've, to understand her and to understand her motivations, we've got to understand how her brain functions and how reward systems work with her. And what is Steve calls himself the benevolent dictator. He loves her, but he's a harsh taskmaster, certainly.
Yeah.
Is he a harsh taskmaster for you too as well?
I think he's had to, because what he's looking for with us is consistency and firmness. And for me, one of the biggest leaps has been realizing that she's a puppy, but she's not a human child. So, for example, with a human child, I might give some choices, but with Moogie, choices are not a good idea. She's not going to do better because she can sometimes do something and sometimes not. She needs the rules to be as consistent as we can make them.
Dogs are the lawyers of the animal kingdom. They're always looking for loopholes. They're looking for a loophole in the rules and trying to sort of figure out a way out of, for instance, she's really not supposed to be doing that. But in this house, Steve would certainly put an end to the paws hanging over the edge. Steve is giving us a very rigid program to follow, and but we're going to tailor her to
Your lifestyle.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think Steve expects and wants people to do that because everybody wants a slightly different kind of dog, right? You want the dog that fits with your life, and that's what we want too. But what he wants is for us to really be able to enjoy her. And if we let too much behavioral stuff slide, it's just not going to be as much fun for anybody.
It's going to be more frustrating, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
You train dogs?
Yes, for many, many years. 51 this year, 23 for money, full time.
You trained dogs for 51 years?
Yes, I started when I was 5.
Wow, there you go. How many dogs have you trained in 51 years?
Thousands.
Have they all worked out?
I don't know, I doubt it. Lots depends on the owners, not just me.
Is there a difference when you get a dog early or late?
Well, yes. That's one of my sweet spots. That's what I really focus on now. I want to work with them early. And there's not a whole lot of academic research on getting a puppy early and training it and seeing what the output is. That's a long-term research project for most people. So you don't have a lot of funding for projects like that. But anecdotally and experientially with me and a lot of the other trainers that I deal with, we want to get them early in that imprinting period, roughly 6 to 16 weeks, and start working with them then.
6 to 16 weeks, so that would be like the day you pick that puppy up from a breeder.
You start working.
Which is earlier than most people would think to do that.
The old wives' tale is that you don't start working with a puppy until it's 6 months old. And that was absolutely the way it was when I was younger. That's just the way you did it. And there's some reasoning for that. At 6 months old, the puppies are able to pay attention longer, and you can, work with them for a longer period of time. Like kids, sure. But the problem with that is by 6 months, they've developed an huge number of problems that you have to solve before you can actually start training them. They've got bad habits.
At 8 weeks, well, right now you can even be starting to train them to come and sit and do that sort of thing. I think we're going to be, there'll be the struggle of house training, but Paul is so good at that there's a chance that they'll come home already house trained, which would be great. And then it's a lot of socialization initially. So learning puppies go through this stage between about 9 and 16 weeks where they're not really afraid of anything at all. And then after about the 10-week mark, 10 to 16, in there, they start getting a little bit nervous of things. So it's really important to introduce them early on to everything that you could ever want them to run into. Rollerbladers, bicycles, all of the things.
Where are you going? Are you trying to crawl into it?
Having a dog and a terrier, a big terrier, and having Steven in the family, it's a lot of pressure. It's like,
I was gonna say, do you feel a little bit like we have to get this right?
Absolutely. They were here for the weekend, for Thanksgiving weekend, and I'm just like, I'm kind of like watching the dog and watching Steve the whole time, just seeing like, I don't know, looking for approval, I guess, really is.
From the dog or from Steve?
From both.
Well, I was wondering.
Mostly from Steve.
So the dog's looking for approval from you, and you're looking for approval from Steve.
Yeah.
I don't expect her to be perfect by any point, by any means at this point. She can't pay attention for an incredibly long period of time. But I want her to start thinking that every time we go outside and we work on things, that she's going to have to start watching me and go, there's going to be a pattern to it. I'm going to have to pay attention to him for a while, then he's going to tell me I can go sniff and go to the bathroom and do whatever I want, and then he's going to tell me I have to pay attention to him again, and away we go. And that's what we're trying to teach them at this point. You sort of, with a young puppy in the imprinting period, you always want them to go, what are these people going to ask me to do next? And if they start thinking like that, that's the way they'll continue on in life. And for a dog trainer, that means they're paying attention to you. You're a good puppy. Yes, you are. You're a good puppy. Yes.
Puppies are a handful, You might want to rescue a 5-year-old who kind of knows the drill already.
But of course, that comes with its own challenges
It
too.
could, depending, yeah.
Yeah.
What about you? Same surprise, or is there?
Yeah, I guess just how much work was required from us probably was a surprise. Unlike Brian, I haven't owned dogs before of any kind, and I had no experience at all. So I was coming in completely fresh, completely ignorant. And yeah, the ignorance got stomped out of me in the first couple of months, but you do have these really good times where you see the training starting to work, and you feel like you and your dog start to move as a unit. And I suppose it's a bit like what you always say about golf. You can have so many days when it's not going well, but then you have that great day.
That gets you to the course.
Comes together, and then you say, "Oh, I love golf." It's kind of like that for me,
You guys started early. Like a lot of people wait until much later to start training, until the dogs had all their shots and everything.
Yeah.
I know it's hard to compare because you haven't done it both ways, but what do you think the value is in starting early?
Well, I mean, ushering her into, adulthood with just properly trained, I guess. That's all I can think of. It's, the danger, I guess I would sort of answer it in an opposite way by saying I think the danger of not getting on training early enough is establishing some really bad habits early on that then have to be kind of unwound. And I'm sure Steve would say something similar to that too. It's like, get on it. Well, he's the one who instructed us. Get on it now. You'll save yourself a lot of
That's his
grief
gospel.
later. Exactly. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
The old idea of dog training was you bring your puppy home, play with it, have fun, and then start the training later on. There's no rush. That's changed. The buzzword now is imprinting, and really that's just a fancy way to talk about modeling the behaviors you want in your dog early on. The thing is, dogs are often wondering what the right thing to do is, and they are happy if they know the rules. So now there is a move to starting training earlier, at least to the extent of your puppy's attention span.
The good news is puppies they learn super fast. Their brains are really plastic in that imprinting period. And they can pick up what you're trying to teach them so much faster than they're able to later on in life. You can still teach an older dog stuff, that's absolutely true. But puppies just pick it up and internalize it a whole lot quicker than you're able to do with an older dog. So, let's say you get a puppy and you don't have money to hire a trainer. The basic behaviors that you need for a puppy are come to you, go with you, and stay still. Super simple, right? Come to you, teach the puppy to come when you call its name. Just come over to you. Not that difficult, it's just repetition. Stay still, that's a little bit more complicated, but you start teaching it to stay still for a couple of seconds at a time in the beginning, and then you just increase the length of time. And go with you, teach it how to behave on a leash. There's a couple of tricks to that one. That one's a little more complicated than the other two. But again, if you focus on it and you reward the puppy for paying attention to you and moving with you, all goes pretty smooth. So next little piece is, for her anyway, she thinks she gets to sniff whatever she wants. And part of the issue with a puppy is once their nose goes down, you don't exist anymore. Totally gone now.
So where's the balance, though? Because you also want them to explore their neighborhood, right?
Yeah, there is a balance, but what I want to be able to do, we'll get up here and I'll show you. I want to be able to give her the command that she can do whatever she wants, except for tug me on the leash in a minute. So after I get a few more minutes of attention from her, we'll walk up here. We'll do it. Good girl. Hey, sit for me. Good girl. All right, go sniff. That's what I want.
All right. But I don't want to sniff here. I don't want to sniff here.
I don't want to do that.
But so now you have the other issue, right? Where she is like walking sideways because she's trying to figure out what you want.
Yes, she's absolutely going, I'm paying attention to you, that's what you're looking for. But I haven't told her let's go again yet, so I'm going to let her have some slack.
So people want to crate train. You're a big proponent of crate training.
Absolutely, yeah. Makes life easier.
But it's kind of sad to hear the dog crying in the crate.
It is, but I look at crate training just the same as teaching a dog to sit, right? You're teaching this puppy who's never been by itself, you're teaching it to be by itself. And it has to learn that. It's always been with its siblings and it's, one of its parents or something like that. And when you start crate training, it's the same as any other command for a dog trainer. And it saves a lot of effort on the part of the new owners. If they give themselves permission to train that way and put that puppy in a crate, your house training goes a lot faster, you don't have accidents, they don't eat your iPhones, which happens all the time with clients. They don't tear up other things in the house, and it just makes life easier if you use the crate.
It's okay to leave a dog in the crate,
Yeah, not for 8 hours a day or anything, but put the puppy in the crate for 30 minutes while you're chopping onions for dinner, or while you're taking a phone call, put it in there for an hour. Go get it, take it outside, get it to go to the bathroom, and play with it and work with it.
You mentioned to me when I arrived that she has found her own space.
Yes, off to the side of the yard is her private spot, and she takes her toys and hides them there. And yeah, that's actually been a really neat thing we've learned from Steve, that dogs really want and need to have some places of their own. And that was a big learning for me as well, because when we first got her, we got a crate, and crate training is a really big part, as you know, of the way that Steve works. And it helped me to learn that when we were putting her in the crate, which again is so different from what you would ever do with a human child, you don't shunt them off by themselves and leave them there. But Steve was explaining that for a dog, the crate is their safe space. It becomes a happy space. It's a space where they can go anytime they want to. And this placemat that we're using here today is another one. And behind the trees on the side of the yard is the third. So those are her spots.
The crate was tough. Steve really,
Yeah.
I don't know. what the word is. He just really emphasized us to fight through that.
And I do crate training. My puppies are all crate trained before they leave.
Really?
Yeah.
I should have got my dog from you.
You should.
I gave up on, well, as you know, with Abigail.
I did. You did give up on crate training. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crate training is so important, and people think it's cruel, but it's
felt
safe.
cruel.
I know, but it's not cruel.
It's like the whining, and
I
it's
know,
like,
but you just have to deal with it, and they get used to it. And there's crate games you can play, and things you can make it easier. And
so
then
you're
they
saying
go
I
in the
did the
crate.
wrong thing.
You did. Yeah.
Okay.
We're in agreement. Yes.
All right.
It's very important, and I always tell my clients, even when I'm working on them, working with them remotely, I tell them to go to puppy socialization class and go to a group training class and all of those things, because the puppies have to have that. And of course, I can't give them that remotely, but they have to have that as long as you take what they're learning remotely and the training that they're doing and you apply that to those chaotic environments of the puppy socialization class.
I need to socialize it, right?
Yes, you do. You need to get it out, take it places.
And so one of the things you do is puppy socialization.
I do. Yeah.
Which is one of many ways to, or one of many parts of the puzzle to socialize and train your puppy, right?
Right.
What's going to happen tonight?
Tonight, what you're going to see is a whole bunch of owners coming in with their puppies. They're anywhere from 9 weeks old to probably 14 weeks old, which is the ultimate time to get them out. Not too young, not too old. And they'll come in and we'll play. So everybody gets to play. And I always will split it up. If I got little tiny ones like breeds, I'll split them up from the big ones, but they usually like to play with the big ones. And we'll get in and play. And then we'll talk about everything puppy. House training, crate training, biting, chewing, anything like that. Then we'll sit down, we'll do a little bit of work on manners. So maybe teaching a sit or leave it or something like that.
So you don't want to put your puppy in a situation where they're feeling overwhelmed. So that's why I was saying with Billy a little bit, even though Billy has another dog at home, it's very different from in a room full of puppies. And puppies that are very forward that need a timeout. Hi, bro. Sure. Next. I got him. So we're just going to have a little quiet time here, so we'll stop barking. So what happens is if you grab at your puppies a lot and you're holding them and kind of just trying to grab and tell them to stop barking. So all I'm doing is I'm putting a little pressure on. You see what's happening? See those legs? Mm-hmm. He's starting to calm down now.
Are there things you can do when they're still, like as a breeder then?
Yes.
With the puppies before they head off to season?
Definitely. I do different textures. I put different things in. I do a ball tub, like a ball pool, so they can all go in and play with balls. So I'm always introducing them to different noises and different sounds. The puppies that I had to send on an airplane, I found sound clips of airplanes taking off. Well, so that cool. They'd already know what the sound of an airplane taking off was, so they wouldn't be scared in the crates.
So this is fascinating. Look at this.
Yeah, lots to smell there.
Step out here. Reminder, move along with me.
I mean, the leash isn't getting tight, so
it's going tight a little bit more than I would like. Her nose is still going down to the ground a little bit more than I'd like, but today's first day of having her. I've had her for a few hours.
What is the most common challenge people have training puppies?
The most common challenge my clients run into is they think that they're going to be able to train that puppy for 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes in the afternoon, and then they're done. Well, one of the difficulties with the imprinting period with puppies is they learn patterns very quickly. And they very quickly learn that 20-minute pattern. And they'll clock in at the beginning of the 20 minutes, and when you're done with that 20 minutes, they'll clock out and go, I don't have to work anymore after that.
So you've actually trained them.
You've trained them to only work at those times of day. So what I try to do with my clients is every time that puppy comes out of the crate, after you take it to the bathroom, you start playing with it. In the midst of playing with it, you're always asking it to do something. Right, randomly while you're playing. You're not grinding away on it, asking it to do 50 sits or 50 come to yous or something like that. But you're playing with it. You ask it to come over to you a couple times. You play with it some more. Ask it to sit. Play with it some more. Ask it to lie down. You're just continually asking it to do things. And then we get to use that pattern recognition to our benefit. If they start to see that pattern happen during their imprinting phase, where they go, I never know when this person's going to ask me to do something, I got to pay attention to them. And that pattern gets replicated over and over. That's the way the dog thinks the world works after the imprinting period is over. So you get a puppy that pays a whole lot more attention to you and understands that you're going to be asking it to do things randomly.
And a happier dog.
And a happier dog. Trained dog's a happier dog. Yeah, that's been proven over the thousands of dogs that I've dealt with over the years.
No. Come here. Look, you're supposed to go and play over here. Okay, go play.
Okay, a second here.
A well-trained dog is better for the owners and the dog. And there are many ways to go about it, from classes to private trainers. There are even trainers who specialize in specific behavior issues. But the key is starting early. What changes did you see in Moogie?
Moogie was a good puppy from the get-go. It was a relatively calm puppy for an Airedale.
For an Airedale.
Not always the calmest breed out there, but Moogie was on the calm side of that. And she picked things up really quickly, but you still have to do the work, right? You still have to do the repetitions. And my clients, they did a good job with it. They worked hard on it. I think they had a little bit of a disadvantage in them being family, so I rode them harder than I would an average client. and the fact that the dog is going to come to our house when he's on tour and things, the dog
You wanted the dog really well behaved.
has to be trained to be in my house. So we put a fair amount of work in, but I think once you look at the video of it, you'll see the progression over time and you'll see the transition. But she was a good dog. She picked it up, they did the work, and she understood what we were asking her.
Any of it seem insurmountable now?
Less so than it did at first, probably.
Yeah, those first few weeks was, I thought I've ruined our life. Our beautiful, peaceful life here is just ruined now. But we're getting it, slowly getting it back, and yeah. And no, but I don't think anything's going to be insurmountable.
Hey, can I borrow you for a second? Can I get you to come pet her? Yeah, I'm gonna get her to sit down. Just walk over and say hi to her. And she's got to keep her bottom on the ground. Good girl. Good girl. There you go. Oh, the man in the orange suit is entirely different from those other guys. Good girl. Good girl. Hey, thanks. Almost got dinner. Andrew, where are you?
Oh,
Can you walk up one more time? Thank you.
I'll see you. Oh, no. See, now you're
Not gonna work. Do it again.
All right. No, there you go.
See? Now, if we
You're
had
getting
him do
used
it
to me.
again, she'd probably do the same thing.
Yeah.
Every time you change a person,
That makes sense. One,
they
he's
get
wearing
thrown
bright,
off.
bright colors. And
Exactly right. Exactly.
Like a highlighter, the human highlighter.
Thanks for the help.